Welcome to the latest episode of this week's Acca, sponsored by Sky Bet Acca Freeze. I'm Tom, joined by Jake and Jimmy as ever to deliver our selections. We've got midweek action to go at across Tuesday and Wednesday. There's the final match day of the Champions League, Sky Bet Championship, and as Jimmy is very excited for, the second round replays of the FA Cup. We'll be looking to try and pick our Acca in the usual format. As ever, let us know your thoughts in the comments all through Sport and Live Football social media channels. And as ever, remember to keep it fun. Never bet more than you can afford. This podcast is 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly. We were hoping that the last Acca wouldn't be affected by the weather. First it was snow, this week it was rain, I believe, as it took Barrow versus Gillingham. And then a lot of draws this weekend. I think one leg actually lost, all the others drawn. Very frustrating weekend.
Yeah, we don't need to dwell on it too much. I'm 2 weeks in a row with postponements. It just kills the whole
time of year.
I know, but you go into the weekend, you're buzzing for this Acca, and then gone.
I think it's the worst Acca we've ever done, results-wise.
I don't know if it's the worst we've ever done.
Ever.
It's up there, but
none of them won, did they? None of the legs won.
I'm sure
That's 0 out of 4.
Yeah, all of them drew.
I'm sure we've had worse. I'm sure we've had like 2 losses and 2 draws earlier in the season from a fourfold. I'm sure we have. But it's definitely up there, yeah.
Yeah.
But can only get better, right?
Along to this where we're debating just how bad the last edition was and if it's the worst we've ever had. A few comments on YouTube. We Fly EMA. I think it's like a plane kind of thing. If you're into that on YouTube, check out their channel. Wolves, Leicester, Bristol Rovers, Charlton, Reading, 15.9 to 1 was their Acca. Again, much like ours, so many draws took part in that one. I think you've probably done well to get any win in Acca, to be brutally honest, from Saturday's action. Darren Jones asks, I remember last season you occasionally included BTTS bets in your Acca. Any plans to do the same this season? Potentially. Maybe. I think we're more towards results. I think maybe this week when we talk wider bets or weeks like this where there's limited action, we might touch upon BTTS, other markets, goalkeeper cards.
Do you not think there's just very little value in both teams to score though?
I'm an over 2.5 type mug punter.
They're so short the prices, right, for BTTS.
Could say that about some results, I guess.
Well, we very rarely go near the shorty ones, do we?
You going to say, Jim, Rob, before we interrupted you? Or have you forgotten?
You was just getting excited at keeper cards.
No, I was going to say, it makes sense.
Conk's going in his mind.
I was thinking, it makes sense to completely throw out all our principles off the back of one bad result. That's what I always do anyway, so let's rip up everything.
Let's not trust the process,
Football manager, supporter, analyst, whatever. The best possible thing you can do is overreact massively to one bad week. So that's
what we're doing.
Approach, I think, as well. Darren also wanted to know what websites, apps, platforms do you use to collect your data and stats to help building your bets?
Sport and Life.
Yeah, that's good. Well done. You can stay. Plug in it. I mean, a lot of ours, we have our own kind of in-house data set and toolbox and stuff. So if you
know, actually, on the back of this, sorry, I'm going to interrupt you there.
Yeah, very rude.
We was at our Christmas party on Thursday, and both of you two got flash scores to show us the.
Bad that, isn't it?
What score was it? What game was it?
Everton, weren't it?
Yeah, Everton game.
Yep.
Both of you went straight to flash score.
Yeah. Management weren't happy, but this thing I saw on my phone, so fine. Go with that.
Yeah.
We have our own in-house toolbox. So if you are on sportlife.com, you see the graphics, the kind of the navy and gold coloured graphics with various things, the heat maps, shot data, all sorts stuff like that. We've kind of have that on site. Plug for the football products, which will continue to get more and more things. We keep seeing the trial, what's the word?
Demos, versions,
pre-versions. Yeah. It's not the word I want, but you're getting the idea of this, that we have got a lot more things coming along.
Yeah, in the pipeline,
player data and stuff like that will come to site soon. But any others that you want to reveal, data-wise, to help?
I just want to say, big plans for the site, so stay locked in. We've got big bright future ahead, don't we?
Copy what you said. Soccerstats.com I use for it gives you a full breakdown league table and you can select your team and you get all the results for it.
Yeah, that is actually interesting because if I wanted to find out how a team had gone on against like bottom half teams, I'd just do it manually. It'd take like 10 minutes, but you told me about soccer stats. Just does it all for you.
There's other ones, your usual data things, who scored good for in play, FBref and stuff like that.
FBref's
Basically up to date.
Best ever.
Is all free to access and stuff like that. And we will finish by saying sportinglife.com in the future. And now, some management can't get angry at us. That we
The best, yeah.
There you go. Brian Bennett's on the podcast next week. He says, not done very well, are we, lads?
Cheers, Byron.
Week 5. Good job in picking my own across as well. So Jimmy's off Thursdays. Brian's heading in.
Right.
We'll be in due place.
Is he coming to the Christmas do as well?
If you need any help, just ask. So we could, we know where he is now on YouTube as well. So we may be getting in touch after the weekend's results. Midweek, then, there's maybe an acceptance on this episode that we might struggle to build an Acca. This has happened before in the midweek games with Carabao Cup and stuff like that.
Happens twice a week, every week since you started.
Yeah, we'll actually use a lot of these to kind of, talk about the games, but also any other kind of things that we've noticed to help any future decisions and stuff like that. We've got Champions League, we've got the Championship, we've got some FA Cup games as well. We always kind of say we always go to Tuesday. This week it doesn't really matter because there's the same amount on either side. It's a tough midweek slate for Acca building this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, looking at Wednesday, I've got a fourfold I would happily back.
Oh.
But we're going to talk about Tuesday first, and if we have got any picks on
To be fair, Wednesday for me, this is why I kind of said the Tuesday-Wednesday thing, because Wednesday for me, well, I said this morning, I said it to you, and you went, I've only looked at Tuesday.
Every midweek, we're always restricted to Tuesday. So I've been in office early, went through all Tuesday, was really struggling. Then you come in, swanned in about half an hour later, and they're like, by the way, swanned in.
damage if turned up late.
Come in and
I
like,
was here before 9. That's a normal starting time, but you carry on.
by the way, we can do Wednesday today, Jim Rod.
Well, to be fair, though, it is usually because, we will move on to talk football, but usually, say, a normal midweek podcast we've done, Sky Bet EFL full.
Yeah.
You maybe have 6 champ, 12 and 12. Then your Champions League, maybe get the odd random, National League games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This week it is just Championship split over 2, so there are not too much. Let's start by looking at it then. Let's talk some games, see, maybe it'll be a case of we go along, see how we feel at the end on what we want to build, but we'll discuss some football. Jim Rod, you can kick us off then, because you've been here since 4 a.m, looking through the Tuesday slate.
Surprised he works everything out manually.
It's just been going through it, yeah. Talk to us about some games that have kind of jumped out to you on Tuesday, because I do have a couple as well, I think we can.
Do you want to know what is funny? I've just got reasons to avoid games on Tuesday.
Brilliant. You know what? That's just as important in Acca building as reasons for games to include.
If you said gun to my head, you've got to pick one team from
That's a bit far for this. Is
Gun to my head.
just a bit of fun, isn't it?
Gun to my head, you've got to pick one game.
Don't go back
one
on it.
team. Gun to my head. You got to pick one game on Tuesday. I'd probably go Crew to beat Bristol Rovers.
Yeah.
At the prices, I think 9 to 5 generally.
They were about that price to win away,
Yeah.
weren't they? Before that game.
Oh no! Bristol Rovers have had a manager.
New manager, yeah.
That's the thing. That's again one reason why it's
To
put me
avoid.
off
Yeah.
this game. Talk to us about Crew though. Why?
What's
It's decent.
the old Bristol Rovers manager up to these days?
Yeah, it's best.
Old one. I'm not sure.
Best we
Quiet,
that we avoid that the better. Let's be honest, very, very, very bad behaviour from it. But Matt Taylor's a former Rotherham manager, isn't he? Who basically
He did a good job.
out of job for like a week, wasn't he? And he was straight in and straight back into managerial.
Shrewd appointment.
Yeah, I quite like it, which is why again it puts me off this game a little bit. But talk to us about it.
No, like Jake said, it was just the thing that interested me was they're the same, pretty similar price to what they did go off in the first leg. They beat in the last round over 2 legs. They beat the anti-post favourites in League One, so effectively the bookies' favourite team of the pool left, and they did so convincingly. Until very late, they was leading the first leg against Derby, and it took 2 late goals. Hurahan bagged one of them. I think Mendes Lane got the other one, and then in the second leg, it wasn't a convincing performance in the sense that they didn't dominate possession. That most of the goals, I think one came from set piece, the other 2 was counter attack, but they showed a great versatility to how they can play, and they score a lot of goals. They score a lot of goals from set pieces that they can win in a shootout, and they just bring a lot to the party. I was just interested mainly though because the price is the same, similar-ish to what they'd went off away from home in the first leg.
Yeah. That's the same reason why I was interested. But as you said, the managerial changes. I do think that Matt Taylor's a very good manager, and I think that he will steady the ship there at Bristol Rovers and That definitely puts me off. So I'll be happy to kind of swerve that. I've got Ipswich down here, and I think you're wanting to oppose Ipswich.
I just, yeah.
I was hoping this game came up, actually.
Yeah.
I was as well, because I think you're all jumping on Watford's bandwagon way too early. I don't think they're anywhere near as good as what the results suggest they are.
I just, again...
Have you got some data to back that up?
The Tuesday slate, for me, again, is a lot of games to avoid.
Yeah.
This, to me, was a game to avoid and just kind of just sit back and see what happened. Obviously, Ipswich are a very good team. I think I saw a stat that them and Leicester both have a record amount of points after 20 games in the Championship's history. The fact that we've got two teams in it at the same time is just remarkable. But there is the cliched feel-good factor around Watford at the moment, that there is, the whole club statement thing they put out, and then actually they're announcing that, they're committed to the manager, they signed a new deal and stuff like that.
Never happens at Watford, does it?
This all mean, and they're kind of reaping the rewards of that stability now. They've lost one of the last 10, maybe, which was Leicester, which, but it all equally was away as well.
That's it, yeah. I think
there's been a huge turnaround at Watford at the moment.
For me, I just went onto Soccer Stats and had a little look at Watford's results.
A plug for him. He's getting a commission from these lads.
Might be. Watford, their home form looks good on paper. 1-5 drawn. 1-5 drawn, 4 lost 2.
6th best home team in the division.
But if you dig a little deeper, you'll see that all 5 wins have come against teams in the bottom half. They've not beaten a team in the top half. They've actually lost 2 of the 4. So 50% loss rate when playing against teams in the top half. So they've had a very favourable home schedule, which kind of makes the home record look better than it actually is. And I know they scored late against Southampton at the weekend. Southampton went off the same price as what Ipswich are currently, and I'd probably argue Ipswich are a better team. They're definitely more relentless, and they definitely score more goals than Southampton on a consistent basis, to where I probably would trust them more at this price. And after all, they've won 6 of their 10 away games this season, Ipswich, so they're not bad travellers. I just thought that price was too big and people are jumping on Watford's bandwagon a bit too early.
And on the reverse side, you siding with Watford, potentially?
No, I don't.
I thought you kind of had this, when we said we'll discuss this game, I thought we were going to get some nice little one go for Ipswich, one go for Watford.
No, sorry, but I just thought, with Watford, as you said, the feel-good factor, and I just don't, and it sounds daft to say because they're the second best side in the division away from home, but I just don't trust Ipswich as when they go off as short as they do away from home to get the job done convincingly. A lot of their away wins, you look at the QPR, Sheffield Wednesday, Southampton, Bristol City, they've all been 1-0s. And
they win. I think that shows more to me that they can go places and keep clean sheets. Because at home, they're completely opposite, aren't they? They concede goals but score loads. Away from home, they're more controlled. I went to Middlesbrough at the weekend. Tough place to go. Went there 1-2-0, which not many teams will go there and dominate in such a fashion.
McKenna's versatile. There's no dispute in that. But I just went at the price. I don't want to get Ipswich on side and then Acca. The other thing is they've only won one of the last 4 away from home. Obviously that win did come at the Riverside, which is a great coup. But
it's probably a summary of Saturday's fixture list. I quite like the look of Middlesbrough, but I thought the price is a bit too short, so that's why I wasn't that keen on getting involved. But I thought
6-5 you went off.
Chance for Middlesbrough here to get something, and they get turned over 2-0, which is probably a perfect summary.
I mean, they had beaten Leicester as well.
Saturday's games
back, didn't they? Middlesbrough at home. So, but yeah, all right, move on.
Anything else Championship-wise?
On Tuesday. Yeah, I wanted to talk about West Brom at Rotherham.
Yeah, I wanted to bring this game at 4-6 West Brom. Well, a bit. You can get kind of around that mark.
Too short, isn't it?
Yeah, I just said that.
Yeah, it's the Championship thing in the EFL, isn't it? That I know we do it, but you always are getting a huge risk of backing away teams at that price, because particularly this league where it's so open all the time. And, every single season at this point, I think saw someone kind of tweet 10 points separates 6th and 19th or something in the division, like how absolutely crazy it is. But I'm sure this happens every single season at this point, because it's just how open the division is.
Yeah. It goes for the EFL, that. Like League 1, League 2 are exactly the same. It's like concertina, nice and squash at this stage of the season. Everyone's still got a chance. Everyone's still got a chance of going down. That's just way too short. Like Rotherham, they're, what would you call them? Canny operators. Play to the strengths. Always good against better
Which
teams.
are very few and far between.
Yeah, but they've Yeah, they've avoided defeats against some good teams at home this season already, so 4-6 is just too short.
We'll talk Champions League very shortly. The one thing I wanted to ask, we're getting this. We're not building Acca on Tuesday, right? I think that's where we're getting to here.
Swiftly.
We'll talk about some Champions League games though, because of course it is the final match day of the group stage. It's a huge match day, or a couple of days on that one as well. Leeds even money away at Sunderland.
Too short.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I rate Sunderland quite highly. I think they deserve to be a little bit shorter than
If Tony Mowbray was in charge, and I know they won last time out at Sunderland.
Yeah, but who's the caretaker?
Not Tony Mowbray.
I don't even know who he is either.
So this is the thing, like
Dodds.
it's maybe they end up getting an absolute genius in, but I think there was a bit of an overreaction to how they were going under Tony Mowbray. That the squad they had, he was the perfect manager to work with them. But Leeds have won 9. Their last 11 games, 9 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. The loss came at Stoke, the most championship thing ever. Yeah. But in that game, they miss a penalty late on. They score the penalty. They then concede a bizarre own goal. They score that. It's 10 wins, 1 draw in that run. I don't know.
Yeah,
I want to talk about, because it is the televised game. If you wanted some championship action to get involved in, instead of the Champions League, I thought Leeds would be shorter than that going off. They're a short price.
Really?
They're a short price everywhere. Aren't they really the way they're going?
Massive.
Nice, mate. They're just a short price everywhere. So I thought not West Brom price, but I thought they'd get into the 5 to 6 territory. Maybe they'd go off at that, but
yeah.
There's going to be goals in that game. That might be one for goals if people want to back goals.
Potentially. What's Jed Spencer score? He'll be playing this weekend, I reckon. But weekend, midweek.
Will he?
He'll be bombing it forward from left back.
Right.
Cutting inside.
Curl one into
the far corner. It's the 5th goal of the game. We'll move on.
No, I had
a prediction on that one.
I had no interest in the 1x2 in this game, but I was I was shocked to see Sunderland top for set place XG in the division. Like 9.13, they've generated 100 set piece shots. Ballard got the goal at the weekend, the opening goal. Unbelievable header. I just watched it before we come down. How did he squeeze it in from there? So if I was going to dip into this game, I'd probably just go for small stakes on the centre-back goal scorer.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting match-up, that, actually, set-piece situation.
Because I know Leeds have been brilliant from set-pieces.
Just seems to be everything that Rodon's at the front post heading it away. Seems to be every corner. But if there's a team that can test them, it will be Sunderland. Right, that's the Championship. We've basically vetoed everything.
We have.
Has anything else they want to mention? Anywhere else?
Not really. Like, again, if you're looking at goals, I think there's going to be goals in the United Bayern game in the Champions League.
Hold that. We'll talk Champions League.
Oh, I thought we might finish Tuesday and then move on to Wednesday where we've got proper bets.
Going to structure this up.
Okay.
We'll talk Champions League. Before we move on to the Champions League, I'm going to give you the week's episode quiz question of the episode, this weekly episode quiz question of the episode. We'll talk Champions League, so I'm going to give you a Champions League themed one. I don't really know how hard these questions are now, because it's like, I don't know, is it as obvious as I don't know. The question I had was, which team has finished runners-up the most times in the Champions League / European Cup without ever winning it? It's the question I'm going to throw out for this episode. And we will talk Tuesday's Champions League action next. On to Tuesday's Champions League action then. I feel like we'll probably, hopefully, have a little bit more to talk to in terms of teams to back and get involved with on the Tuesday slate. It's the final match day of the Champions League, as we've said, so it is hugely important for a lot of teams. Where has our eye been caught in terms of the Tuesday European games?
Mine, just goals in the 2 games from Man United's group, really.
That could be chaotic.
It could be really chaotic, because Man United can't defend for shit at the minute, and Bayern Munich.
That's an analyst term, I believe.
Very much so, yeah. And obviously Bayern Munich have incredible firepower. We were debating upstairs, they've got a big game at the weekend, Bayern, against Stuttgart in the Bundesliga, but they did get absolutely smacked by Frankfurt last week. So it's like, will they play the strongest 11 to try and get a bit of momentum ahead of that game at the weekend? I don't think it matters. I think if Bayern play the second string, they'll probably still score a couple at Old Trafford, the way in which United are defending, and the fact that obviously United need to go and try and win the game to have any chance of qualifying. I think bottom of the group at the minute, aren't they? So you need a result just to even drop into Europa. Yeah,
it's out of their hands massively here, isn't it? They could be like, they could win 7-0, but then Copenhagen could get a 98th minute winner and it's all for nothing.
All for nothing.
This one.
And the same with the Copenhagen Gala game. Goals just purely because Galatasaray have to win They have to go for it if they're to finish to qualify in Copenhagen. A draw does suit them, but we've seen they've quite, their games have seen quite a lot of goals already this campaign. It's 2-2 draw in Turkey in the previous round, and I was looking at Copenhagen to win. I think their price to win is actually quite big, and the reason for that is the form is not great coming into this, but this is their last game before a winter break, so they can leave it all out on the pitch. Whereas Galatasaray are in the middle of a really stacked schedule, and in the middle of a big title battle in Turkey as well. So, they've shown defensive frailties of Galatasaray, and maybe could be one that Copenhagen pick them off on the break.
7-5-ish around that mark of Bayern Munich. Do you not think that's a bit of value? I know they go to Old Trafford, I know. I don't buy too much into the one team has already qualified, so they've got nothing to play for. They've already lost their perfect record. They seemingly win every group game, don't they, Bayern Munich? But there's going to be times in the game where effectively Man United just have to go attack. And if there's one team that can, as we've seen, can pick them off pretty well, it's probably this Bayern side. That first game at the Allianz should not have been, was it 4-3? It should not have been as close as it was. It was just a stupid late collapse that for no particular reason they did. Not taking the visitors here, given everything we've seen from Erik Ten Hag's side, particularly against good teams. They've shown this season. I think Chelsea were the first top half team they beat. They were only just in the top half. They were just at the time. They were just in the top half. Everyone else been beaten by. They've lost to. So you not take Bayern Munich here, 7-5.
No.
Okay.
I'm not touching that game with a barge pole, to be honest. I think there's just too much uncertainty, and the fact that Man United need to win to stand any chance, it's just unsettling. It's just unsettling for me. I wouldn't be looking to get Bayern Munich on side.
But if they need to win every game, and if they did that, they'd be top of the table. They're not.
You got me there. To be fair, though, they have scored 3 goals in... they scored 3 goals in each of their away games. They've scored 12 goals in the Champions League so far.
They're one of the top scorers in the entire...
Yeah, they are, aren't they?
They've scored the most goals in the group.
They're conceding a lot. They're conceding more than they score.
Scored the most in the group and conceded.
Could potentially be a Group A double in terms of goals, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whether they go over 2.5 BTTS or what. That potentially could be the way to navigate this, because I think for as good as all of Tuesday's action will be, a lot of focus inevitably will be on people watching this game.
Yeah, on the other game though, I like, do you know Copenhagen beat Galatasaray in that group? Mm-hmm. You made a good case for Copenhagen, and I think the last game before the winter break is brilliant insight, but I'd be tempted by Galatasaray combination with their keeper to be Cardiff, because it's a straight shootout, isn't it?
It's a Jimmy the Pun special.
Back in the away team, and a keeper who's slightly unhinged just appeals massively.
Who is the goal list from our people?
I should really have made a note of that.
What sort of price?
I saw he'd not got a note.
What sort of price we're looking at? If you want us to do the away win, Goldie?
Keepers are not priced up yet.
Not yet.
Well, cards aren't priced yet, but...
Fair enough. We'll keep an eye on that one then.
I want to say it's... Yeah, I thought it was Muslera, the goalkeeper.
Tuesday slate.
Yeah, Uruguayan.
It's tricky, isn't it? The other short price ones, I mean, Arsenal's group is the 17:45 kickoffs this week.
Yeah, I did look at PSV.
say
just purely because they're on absolute fire domestically. You know they've won every single game so far this season?
I did not know that, no.
Played 15, won 15 in the league, which they've conceded 6 goals in 15 and scored 52 times. Like, they are absolutely shredding that league to pieces. Goal difference of 46 is actually better than the points total, which I think is, like, very rare you see shit like that happening. Yeah, they've definitely got the potential to bloody the nose. And it's a bit of a nothing game in the sense that both through, Arsenal can't be caught at the top. But yeah, they could be one to maybe spring a bit of an upset. Perhaps we obviously saw Arsenal go to Lens and lose in the first away game of the campaign and only just scrape past Sevilla. So maybe PSV could be an interesting.
I think Inter were probably the only kind of one mine was drawn to, and even then I'm not too sure on the prices. Talking around the 4 to 6-ish marker for them.
Too short.
It is a bit too short, maybe. Again, this is a huge game actually, because the top place in that group has not been decided yet.
That's right. They're both on the same points.
So they're both on the same point. So it is a bit of a winner-take-all type situation here.
A draw suits Sociedad because goal difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, which means Inter obviously have to go and try and win the game. So yeah, maybe Sociedad might be the way I'm looking at it. They've got some really good operators for playing counter-attacking football, and they are on a bit of a roll. They had a slow start to the season, but they are flying at the moment. They're only in this position because they came back from 3-0 down against Benfica to draw, which meant that the group is still alive. But yeah, I did look at that game and just thought straight away Inter are too short.
The other one's Napoli as well, far too short, aren't they, the way they are going at the moment? No chance. Jim Rod, you got a cheeky little smile on your face. Is there a Braga shout coming here, or...?
Maybe.
Braga have been going very, very well. And
Yeah, Braga need to win. They don't just need to win, they need to win by a 2-goal margin to stand any chance to get to qualify into the knockouts. And as you say, Napoli, there was only one way from last season's Scudetto, especially since Spalletti left, and they've certainly gone that way. I think they've lost each of the last 3, 2 of them in Serie A. So I won't be touching them with a barge pole at the prices. And given the dynamic of the clash, I think Braga they've got to go for it and get an early goal, throw the cat amongst the pigeons. I'd be interested in getting Braga on side in some capacity.
double chance shout, potentially.
Although that doesn't suit them, in terms of the dynamic of the game, I don't see them
7-4
losing.
7-4, 2-1. You can get Sporting Braga or draw in this game on a double chance. I know it says it doesn't suit them, but
yeah,
you know, if the initiative there is 1-1 and they can't quite get that goal, you've got yourself a winner on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other game I'd got down as a maybe another big price would be Salzburg at home to Benfica, because Benfica have to go there. They have to win 3-0 basically at Salzburg to have any chance of finishing the Europa League. And then if you look ahead to the game at the weekend, they actually play Braga, and that may not sound like a big game, but in Portugal that's a huge game at the moment because they're both within. I think that's the top 3, top 4. There's not many points separating them at the moment, so it's actually quite a big game. And given the way in which the group is, they have to go there and win 3-0. They might rotate quite a few players. There might be a good chance for Salzburg to get a win. And I know we say these are dead rubbers, but they're not dead rubbers. For every win you get in the group stage, you're picking up like a couple of million quid. So the motivation's there for the smaller clubs to, even when they might look like they're completely out of it, to actually have a go, because they need that kind of money to help them continually get to this stage. So Salzburg outsider would be one I was interested in.
Yeah, we're not going to make the Acca on the Tuesday, are we? This is the way we're going.
We're not, no.
We will discuss Wednesday's action very shortly, but before we do that, I want one best bet from everyone for Tuesday's action. You can have anything, any of the competitions that we discussed, anything else. One best bet that people maybe can look at or use to kind of get around that Tuesday action. Jake?
I probably would throw a few quid at a Copenhagen Salzburg double.
Okay.
Just a small stakes, little double.
Pushing
something to cheer on.
7-ish to 1 marker on that one as a double.
Just something to cheer on. I think it could be a good game for those smaller home teams. A good weekend, midweek.
Jimmy?
Yeah, the Galatasaray win, keeper card double. I think you should be able to get around 10-11 to 1. Off the top of my head, I did back it against
United.
Man United, yeah, and I think, well, he's just an absolute cannon. I think he's had 3 cards already this season. Not opposed. They're not all even for time wasting. He's just a bit unhinged.
Unhinged. For me, Manchester United, Bayern Munich, I'm going to go for... I've just looked up the price of this. Even money or above with some bookmakers is
I know what
generally...
he's going to say.
Harry Kane.
Oh.
Harry Kane score any time.
Oh.
Really?
Is even money 11 to 10. Some bookmakers offering as well. You could...
I thought you were going to go with Bayern to score 2 or more.
Potentially that is one way to go around it as well. But I think when I just kind of saw this price, I was like, wow, okay. And you'll get bookmakers doing their boosts and stuff like that on this one, won't they? The double-ups and stuff like that. 22 goals in 19 games for Harry Kane this season. I'm not going to tell you any more about Harry Kane that you don't already know. We will discuss Wednesday's action very shortly. You may want to use the Acca freeze from Sky Bet on a few of those results that we've discussed. And here's Joe Townsend to tell you how.
One thing we've all got in common is having that one leg of an Acca let us down. From spending your winnings in your head to cursing that last-minute equaliser that broke your heart. But it doesn't have to be that way. Acca Freeze from Sky Bet gives you the power to freeze a winning score early. Even if that team goes on to lose, Sky Bet will settle it as a winner. It's time to take action. It's time to Acca Freeze and end the game your way. Visit skybet.com for full terms and conditions.
I'll give you the second clue for my quiz question of the episode, by the way. Forgot to do it before the advert there. The question I've asked of you is which team has finished runners-up the most times in the Champions League / European Cup without ever winning it? The clue there. I didn't give you any clues, did I, actually? No, I'll give you 2 then. I'll give you 2 and 1. The first time they were beaten, the opposition scored their first Champions League/European Cup title. And the second clue I'll give you is that they've been finalists in the last 10 years of the competition. So fairly recent-ish finalists in the competition here. And I think that takes us nicely on to Wednesday's action, where with 2/3 of us, I don't know about Jimmy, but we've kind of said we fancy Wednesday's games a little bit more in terms of backing results, building Acca's, trebles, anything like that. There is Champions League. There is Sky Bet Championship as well. We spoke about Sheffield Wednesday, didn't we, on Saturday? They beat Stoke, and I said a phrase, I never thought I'd say Sheffield Wednesday on this podcast again, or this season. I'm going to say, I never thought I'd say QPR to win on this podcast this season either. But the bad teams have turned it around a little bit. The bad teams have made managerial changes. QPR are one of those. Queen's Park Rangers to beat Plymouth on Wednesday. The price is, you're getting even money and above various places in that one. I like this a lot. There's a lot of conferring here. I don't know if you've got agreement, disagreement.
I've got it.
QPR, eh?
QPR I think it's 3 wins on the bounce now for them after the victory over there. Deservedly so, watching these games based on performances. I don't think I could pronounce the manager's name, so...
I'll try.
Marty Cifuentes. Cifuentes is what I'm going
the
for.
accent there, Jim.
Got to give it the respect.
Interesting setup, the way they're kind of with it in possession. They go into this kind of 4-2-4 type thing. Their midfielders, attackers are working very closely together. I think that it's no coincidence that they're scoring goals. They won a game 4-2 recently. Good God. Never thought we'd see the day, eh? But I saw under Ainsworth when they went to Leeds. Again, it's tricky when you go into title day. Really nothing about them. So this same group of players to then have transformed them the way that he has is absolutely remarkable. And a Plymouth team we've spoken to so many times before, they're away versus home contrast. Decent price this. Again, I know that I understand why they aren't, but push maybe 5 to 6-ish at kick-off. Not too sure.
I mean, not only is it potentially a good betting game, but also it's a very big game in the grand scheme of relegation.
Huge game, yeah.
Because there's only 3 points between the two sides at the moment. So, like you said, they've kind of clawed, Huddersfield and QPR have clawed in the teams above them. Wednesday are on the way. We are getting there. We're still 8 points from safety, but we're getting there. And bizarrely 11 to 10 to stay up, which...
It feels weird down there, doesn't it, in the Championship, that, I don't know, a month or so ago, 6 weeks ago, you go, yeah, QPR, Sheffield Wednesday, Rotherham, shake hands, well done.
Yeah.
Thanks for trying this season.
But now you've got... Birmingham, probably from Swansea down, you probably look at and go...
Yeah, QPR, Sheffield Wednesday benefited from managerial change. Rotherham are about to get Liam Richardson in, aren't they?
Huddersfield, you could say, Ab as well. They've won a 4-match unbeaten.
This is now very interesting in that Millwall have made a managerial change. They had a great start. They haven't really followed that up in terms of results. So from QPR on 19 points to Swansea, who again are waiting for a manager of their own, there is 5 points between 16th and that final relegation spot. It's suddenly become very interesting. And with Sheffield Wednesday Sheffield Wednesday potentially continuing to win games or pick up points with the way they are going as well. It's getting very interesting at the bottom there. And a QPR win, hopefully, if we include them in any kind of Acca and stuff like that, just adds to it.
I think they go in QPR. If we do end up with an Acca, I think it's a bigger price than I was expecting to see.
Tipping QPR. Would you look at us, eh?
Hey, who'd have thought it?
Who'd have thought it? Do you remember...
after the Sheffield Wednesday one, I feel like, we can't back these teams down there at the bottom. If they're on a bit of a go, they're feeling good about themselves.
We mentioned them on the podcast last week, QPR, as being a big price, didn't we, against Hull? And we both kind of agreed that was one that we might look at a bigger price. So we obviously fancied them, and we still do.
So, why are we talking about Wednesday still?
Because
probably going to survive.
We said, didn't we? We said, we never thought we'd back Sheffield Wednesday, and we did. Sheffield Wednesday are 3-1 to beat Norwich.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I want to talk about them as well, actually.
You are a proper Norwich hater, aren't you? So.
No, I don't mind Norwich. I have nothing against them. I just don't understand how they keep winning games. Now,
Mate, are they good?
at Blackburn, that game against Blackburn, that second half, the atmosphere around the entire place was a resignation of, and even on the bench, they knew what was coming. Everyone knew that this was going to happen. There was going to be a managerial change. And then kind of when I was asking about it, the reply was that they had the sporting director changed, didn't they? I think Stuart Webber was maybe just clocked out, new guys come in. And maybe because of this transitional period, it's just kind of been left as it is at the moment. And then from this, they have started to win some games somehow. So it's I don't mind Norwich and nothing against them, no real opinion of them. It's more that side of things.
You hate them.
After that Blackburn game, I thought this is it. There's going to be a managerial change. We all know it's coming. And then suddenly we're a few weeks down the line and it still happened. They're picking up results. But I don't know, man. Like,
It's a big price, but
like Danny Roll, yada, 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 you know.
Like
Again, as a single, much like we did when they beat Stoke.
Yeah.
The difference is Stoke were bang out of form, and we thought that might be the last game for Alex Neil. It turned out to be that way.
It defies logic, this Norwich run. I don't get it. This is why it's not like, I just don't understand where it's coming from and where they're winning these games and how they're winning these games. But then I think if you look at the teams they've beaten, Bristol City, QPR, who were obviously just making that change, Cardiff, which was a weird game, they're about to lose that and they pulled it back.
Yeah, it's one of them, like, it's a good price, but Wednesday they'd beat Stoke at a good price, but and massively out of form Stoke, whose manager got sacked as a consequence,
And they had a penalty save.
Stoke missed a penalty. Wednesday only had 2 shots on target.
91st minute winner.
Could have been margins. It could have gone either way, couldn't it?
You just ride the value wave of Sheffield Wednesday until the bookmakers cotton on. They're going to win every week now.
Not when you've got like Cardiff and Middlesbrough at very backable prices at home.
Tell me about Cardiff then. I'm glad this is...
I don't need to say much about Cardiff. We've said it all along. Like, you love their coach. He's got a great home
You know what? Yeah,
record.
it's more that Birmingham
are just...
Friday night.
Wow.
Wow.
They need to be careful or they are going to get relegated.
If you saw relegation battle, they could easily slip into it.
Well, they are in it.
They're-
4 points above QPR. They're in it.
It's very bad performance. They've obviously gone from this more standoffish type, structured, defensive-esque out of possession mindset to this front foot, get the ball. They've not really got the quality to do so, and teams are easily working their way to play out. So the change from Eustace to Rooney is not just maybe a coaching one, but the way that he wants that team to set up. No coincidence then that they're now getting picked off, struggling to create. I mean, to be fair, the attack's not terrible, but
They've lost.
in terms of the team's abilities to play around them, it's just there for a
They've
bit.
lost all kind of solidity, like you were saying. I mean, the last 4 away games under Rooney, they've conceded 3, 3, 4 and 2. So they're giving up a lot of good chances. And obviously Cardiff, we've spoken a lot about their home form. Six of their 9 wins have come at home this season. Obviously beat Millwall at the weekend as well. I think that price should be shorter, really, than what it currently is. Cardiff with the other one, and then I did touch on Middlesbrough. Did you have anything on Middlesbrough?
You talked about Middlesbrough. I kind of half looked at this game. I was unsure because we spoke about Hull again to save repeating ourselves and kind of senior and the way they are. That loss at QPR helped me a little bit. Kind of go, I could maybe get Middlesbrough on side this midweek or at home because I think they played well against Leeds. Obviously lost to Ipswich. But they've had a tough run. There's been back-to-back defeats, but the performance has been okay for them there. It shouldn't be the same against Hull in terms of result.
No, I think Middlesbrough, spit that out, I think that they will eventually clamber up into top 6 and finish in the playoffs. I think they're that good. The underlying data has been solid all season long. We saw that little mini run, didn't we, where they kind of started picking up a lot of results, and it's kind of halted since, but it's mainly been the away form where they've struggled. I know that before that Ipswich home defeat. But yeah, I have full confidence in them bouncing back, really. And again, that price looks too big to me. Like, on Oddschecker we're at 6 to 7. That is bigger than I expected to see.
I mean, to be fair, if you put a Cardiff, QPR and Middlesbrough treble together, you're getting around 6 to 1. Yeah. And we haven't even touched on the Champions League, which we'll go to shortly.
Yes. Go there now.
Well,
unless you've got...
Just kind of...
No, I love QPR as a pick, and I love Cardiff as a pick, but I just don't really want to be going against Hull, not Liam Seniors.
We've got 3 to 1 double. Let's talk Champions League, because maybe some of these fixtures we are pushing potentially fourfold territory here. I know we said we might struggle, but there was an acknowledgement there. 5.
I reckon we could get a 5. Yeah.
But we did say early on that Wednesday's fixtures, I think, probably more appealing. Sheffield Wednesday, as much as we love them now. The Wednesday slate looks more appealing for Acca building. Take it away then, Mr. Fivefold, and the confidence through the roof on these picks.
Atletico Madrid and Porto.
Yeah, I got Atletico Madrid. I'm more than happy to put them in to make a treble. Probably teams up to about 5-ish to 1.
Yeah, it's a big game. Decides the group winner this. But Atletico Madrid, they've won every home game this season. That's 10 matches, 10 wins, all competitions. Lazio, they've got to go for it. They've not travelled well all campaign. Lost 6 of 10 away. Well beaten by Feyenoord in the away game. They've only been away and beaten Celtic in the Champions League, which doesn't take much, does it? So yeah, Atletico were 1. And then Porto, they're playing Shakhtar Donetsk, who have done incredibly well to even be in with a chance of qualifying for the knockouts. But Porto absolutely handled them in the away game. And I fully expect them to do the business. And again, this is a winner goes through scenario in that group. And I think Porto just got way too much quality for Shakhtar, especially in Portugal.
Yeah, I haven't looked too much at Porto. I just kind of know, like you said, stronger home team, aren't they? So it's too much of an issue there. Other games, Champions League wise, and because we've talked 5 results that between us, maybe not all of us, but between us, there are 5 results there that we could get behind. 5 home teams, crucially, which I like.
That.
Anything else on that Wednesday slate that kind of jumps out? Because I did want to touch upon that huge group, Newcastle's group, of course, which was the group
of death,
wasn't it? Labelled straight away. Newcastle have Milan, Dortmund have PSG.
Yep.
PSG and Newcastle are the same-ish price, around 17 to 20, 19 to 20, depending where you're looking. I don't know. It's as much as it is Dortmund, it is also PSG. I quite like PSG's price because Dortmund, who aren't having the best of seasons in terms of Bundesliga, they're not able to kind of build upon last season's title charge so far. But Dortmund have now lost 3 and drawn the other game against the teams that are above them in the table. They've played all the current top 4. They are yet to beat them. Look at kind of the Champions League as well. Don't know. I think PSG, if we were kind of struggling and forcing ourselves to pick, not that I'm saying I don't fancy them, but I would have maybe thrown PSG in here.
Can't trust them away from home. Sorry.
This is the thing as well.
4-1 defeat and 2-1 defeat.
I can't trust Dortmund either, so this is why I don't know if it just opens up some value to take the better team out of the two of them to win.
I wanted a bigger price, personally. I know Dortmund are already qualified, but if they lose this game, then they finish second, and it might be quite a big advantage to finish first. So, I don't know. I thought that price was a bit short. Same with Newcastle. That price.
I say, did Newcastle beat Milan? Do you reckon Newcastle are doing this?
Newcastle just look absolutely dead on the feet.
It felt like
so spent.
Felt that first half was like the 90 or like the 100th minute in extra time.
Yeah.
The way they were, they just looked so like jaded. Is that the word? They just looked exhausted, didn't they?
Been absolutely hammed by the schedule, haven't they? So I can't touch them, even if Milan have got their own injury issues. But there's the more depth players as opposed to starting 11. 10 to 11 is just too short, and this is basically a shootout. But it could be another high-scoring game. I think there'll be goals.
Quite good. This is quite a good setup for the Champions League this year. The final match day's got quite a few like that, haven't they?
Yeah. But I quite like the 5 that we've put forward. You're looking at, with Bet365's boost at the moment, the best price in the industry is going to be 17 to 1 for that 5-fold, which...
Who's that 5-fold?
Porto, Atletico, and then the 3 champ teams, QPR, Cardiff, Borough.
Don't like Borough, don't like Porto.
You don't like Porto?
It's a straight shootout. For the winner takes it all. Porto got a better goal difference, so technically I think they'd only need a draw.
It goes on head to head. So
are Porto better than Shakhtar Donetsk?
They beat them 3-1 in. We've obviously.
I mean, it's a straight shootout, but then it's like if team A is better than team B, you just back team A, and you never go into a mindset of thinking a draw's enough.
Yeah.
Because the moment you fall into that mindset, you lose the game. Because you're 100% just holding on to a 1-1, and then you get done 2-1, and then you're suddenly chasing it.
4 to 9.
Again, I thought they should be shorter.
Really?
Yeah. I think Porto...
Leipzig are 1-3 to beat Young Boys. Do you think it would have been around that?
I thought it'd be around that, yeah.
I'm happy to say your word on it.
I think that's priced because of Shakhtar's results. They've done well to get in this position, but they've beaten Antwerp twice, and then kind of... They beat Barcelona, but that was the home game for them. Like, their away games have been really poor. I just think Porto, they're canny operators in this competition, and they have got more than enough. Like, They went off really short in Shakhtar as well. I know it wasn't in Shakhtar, but they went off at 4-6 away from home, and now we're 4-9 at home. That's to me that's not short enough. 4-9.
Yeah, it's a great point. That's how you just brushed over the fact that Shakhtar Donetsk beat Barcelona.
Oh,
They beat Barcelona. Bro.
we've all been Barcelona.
Everyone beats Barcelona at the moment.
No, and in that part of side, they've got bags and bags of experience, but I'm just making the point that it's a one-off sort of scenario. Winner takes it all. We want to get the home side on in a fivefold accurate 1 point.
I think Cardiff and QPR are locked in here.
Yes.
We both agree on them. I kind of am leaning a bit to Middlesbrough. Just looking at Hull and their away result. I mean, Middlesbrough have been good. They obviously beat Leicester, but they've lost at Ipswich, lost at West Brom, lost at Norwich as well, lost at QPR recently. I don't know. I think it's about right, the price, which I don't hate, which is fine with me.
Oh, me, yeah. I think they need to go in.
Should we just do the Wednesday fivefold here? We've spoken those 5 home teams. There's confidence amongst us in these 5 teams in various patterns. Not obviously all of us, but it just looks right.
It looks right. And I was expecting the fivefold to come out shorter than that as well.
Pre-boost 14.5-ish to 1 on the fivefold of Cardiff, QPR, Middlesbrough, Atletico Madrid and Porto. Said we liked Wednesday's slate a lot more. There's 5 home teams there that I could get behind. Part of an Acca.
I think it goes close, that. I really do.
If you're not confident, of course, as well, you can back them, the non-boosted price, but take the freeze option on there if you're not confident in Porto, for example, if they go 1-0 up, even at 4-9, or, Middlesbrough, teams like that you're not confident on. There is that option at least to kind of give that extra security.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm in. It was my
Jim Rod
suggestion.
here is very casual. Yeah.
No, I don't want Porto in it. I can be one because I'm just looking at Hull now. Since they beat Leicester, Ipswich have done them 3-0, West Brom did them 3-1, and I'd certainly put Borough in that category. Well, I regard Michael Carrick as highly as I do Corberan, and maybe not as high as McKenna, but I think Carrick's a terrific manager, and I have no doubt that they can bounce back.
You're around 10 to 1-ish. I know we wanted to go back to the fivefold, so we need to obviously be realistic on the weekend. Midweek fixtures, you're going to get nowhere near as much football as the weekend usually. Fourfold's near 10 to 1. If you wanted to drop Porto, if that is the one that's making you go, not too sure on this, I just don't know. You can get around 10 to 1 on the fourfold on those games. And obviously, if you wanted to add on, we have the long list. You can have various teams.
Maybe lock in the fourfold, get that boosted, and I'll back a fivefold by myself.
I'll probably do it as well.
Yeah.
The evil laugh that goes with that. Should we take the fourfold then?
Yeah.
If that's the one we're all confident on, I feel better to go for the fourfold than maybe another selection that there are the little doubts about. The nagging doubts. A phrase we've not used this episode just yet. Happy?
Sound.
Let's take it then. Fourfold locked in for this week in the Sky Bet Championship on Wednesday. We're taking Cardiff to beat Birmingham. We've got QPR to beat Plymouth. And we've got Middlesbrough to beat Hull as well. And then just the one game from Wednesday's Champions League action. It's Atletico Madrid to beat Lazio. Pre-boost, we're going at 9.8 to 1. So close enough to that 10 to 1-ish marker that we talk about. As ever, remember to keep it fun, never bet more than you can afford, and please gamble responsibly. Before we get out of here, you've got to answer my quiz question. I want you to tell me which team has finished runners-up the most times in the Champions League European Cup without ever winning it. The first time they were beaten, the opposition secured the first Champions League European Cup title. They've been finalists in the last 10 years of the competition. On the 3 occasions they have been finalists, every single game has gone beyond 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And the last 2 appearances saw them beaten by their main rivals. And the fact that we have discussed this team on the podcast already has probably made you go, it's them, isn't it? Jake got it straight away when I was asking the question. The team is
Atletico Madrid.
Oh, no, it is Atletico Madrid. 1974 versus Bayern Munich, and then 2014 and 2016 against Real Madrid. The team who's finished up the runners-up the most times is actually Juventus. Of course, they've won it twice. They got Bayern Munich, Benfica with 5, but again, they have won it. So yeah, Atletico Madrid, 3 appearances in the final. They have never won the competition. There you go. That's a Champions League themed quiz question.
Love it.
You enjoyed that one. A recap of this week's Acca then. We are taking, if I can find the right tab on that, we've got Cardiff, QPR, Middlesbrough and Atletico Madrid as well. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Get in touch with us on social media. If you're not watching on YouTube, Sporting Life Football, you'll find us that way. And as we always say, head over to sportinglife.com/football. We'll get that boosted with Sky Bet as well to back, or there'll be the long list there if you want to include some to freeze, to pick and choose. You like Porto, you don't like other elements of it, you can build your own one on there. And as ever, please follow, rate us on Spotify, iTunes, your chosen podcast provider. And it's going to be Thursday. We'll be back. Correct, for the weekend edition.
Hopefully no postponements.
Hopefully no postponements. We're keeping our faith in Tuesday's weather, and we'll be back on Thursday.